let's get to my favorite part of the week, which is the AEW review. Bro, they did like 605,000. Konnan. Like,
what was the lowest segment and what was the highest?
Let me see if Joe sent it.
He sent it.
He sent some data. Let me look here. So the lowest segment on the show was
dying, and he still sends the.
Well, here we go. Quarter hours. Dynamite. Okay, so this was This was a steady from like 8:15 to 9:15 to 9:30. And then it like tailed off a little bit at the end, like the last half hour of the show. But the highest segment was the opening segment as usual. But that ended up like by the time it was over, it ended up at like the rest, like the basic average for the show. And the lowest segment was the main event.
You mean Suzuki or Sasaki didn't pull a good rating? Surprised.
All right, so let's go over the show because it's funny because I got a couple things that stood out to me. Okay, number one, Will Ospreay wrestled Brian Cage, and everybody, bro, this isn't work, right? Brian Cage shot him. It was on the floor. He shot him into the barricade. Will Ospreay jumped up onto the barricade, turned around, and jumped into Brian Cage, catching him in a suplex. And he walked him around the ring. So whatever. That's acrobat. That's literally like, don't lie. That's like Cirque du Soleil acrobatics. You go to Cirque du Soleil, they do stunts like that. They catch each other and whatever. So this match was a little underwhelming for me because I would have liked Cage to go over. To be honest with you, it's gonna lose Bro, Cage is entertaining television because his moveset, but like there's zero chance that you think he's gonna win.
He's a big guy. He can't win.
He's always wrestling somebody that, like, bro, it's like you can't use a guy that looks like that as a jobber on your show for everybody else. He never wins.
Too late.
I'm saying it's absurd.
Let me just say, this was a good match. Too long, like usual, because nobody can get beat quick unless they're a jobber.
Well, let me get to
go ahead.
There was more, because I want to talk about this and get your take on this. Once again, after the match, take a wild guess what happens, because Lance Archer is out there ringside with Don Callis. They run and attack him. Okay. And then the heels are attacking. So then Kenny Omega runs out to help him. The heels are 4-2. And dude, this beatdown, once again, looked like nobody in the back laid anything out. It was very poor heat. They weren't beating them up that bad. They kind of just like stopped beating them up and just stood there like when you could have been getting more heat. Dude, when you do a beatdown like that, it's 4-2. Okay? The beatdown is all four, if you're going to do it as long as they did, because this was a long beatdown that wasn't getting a lot of heat because he didn't beat them up that bad, just everybody give them your finish. All four heels give finishes the guy, and the guys are dead now, and they're laying over. But these guys were kind of like selling, and they weren't getting beat. They would run down and like hit him a couple more times. It's not very poorly done beatdown here again. What'd you think of this? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, and that's 2 weeks in a row. And the thing is that Don Callis, who I know listens to the show, probably not every show, but he does listen to the show. I'm surprised he hasn't heard us because he's very smart and gone back and cleaned it up and said, hey, guys, you got to in and make it look real. But again, we had that problem again. Brian Cage looked great physically. I like him with the beard, right? But they treat him like a J-Bron.
Right. How he can't protect his character anymore.
Konnan.
Like what can you do? It's like just I'm gonna lose. I can't hit this guy with everything because it's going to look absurd.
And not only was the match long, the aftermath was very long. I was like, why is this so long? What were you going to say, Matthew?
So you're bringing up Don Callis. Do you have any information for us? Is he going to be imposing tariffs on any of his products that we need to be worried about?
Well, he's not a prime minister, but he does. Oh, yeah, that's right, because he is the Lord of Moldava and he does sell taffy. Yeah. I think he is going to be doing tariffs on taffy and bongs. Yeah.
I have a question now. I don't watch AEW at all, but when I did watch it, I always remembered that big guys for some reason are treated like jobbers. Has that really changed? Because I think it goes way beyond Cage. I never saw a big guy get a decent push. They don't
really job Brody. Is that his name? Brody King?
Brody King, yeah.
They don't really job him out. They'll put him like in long competitive matches, but he usually loses too. I almost feel, and I don't know if you heard this show, but I almost feel like one of two things. Either Tony, and I don't know why anybody would have done this to him at school, but was bullied by bigger guys, right? Or he grew up in the era where to get a push, you had to like take steroids. Mm-hmm. And he probably said, if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna push the little guys, are real good workers, But you can't. You have talented big guys. Why aren't you using them correctly?
Yeah. I just always thought that he wants to be opposite of WWE. Like a WWE pushes big guys, I'm going to push little guys.
Right.
The big guys here are going to look bad, and that's just the way it is.
Well, he copies more. He copies them more than you would think. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I'm kind of disappointed in now that we've been talking about this. I'm disappointed in Don Callis too a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you why. Because Don knows professional wrestling. Don knows how to get heat. Okay, bro. Why would you not want your faction getting really good heat?
Right.
Okay, then lay it out like they're going to. Because here's the thing: if your faction has heat, okay, you're 4-on-2. The way you want to make it look like is this situation. The match is over. These 4 guys had these 2 guys in peril of getting hurt. Okay? At no point in this beatdown did you think that at all. Okay? They didn't lay it out to where like they're really giving these guys like everybody's giving their finish. Like bro, like they do with Jacob Fatu.
Right.
Like he's constantly getting heat. They have to stop him. Like they have to bring more people out to stop the heat because he's hurting the guys. There's none of this. It's like they beat him down a little bit and then they celebrated. What are you celebrating? Like like these guys. I wasn't even scared that Kenny and Will Ospreay are going to be able to come on like a segment later. Like that,
right.
Like that, right? So it's like
one of the guys in the crew is moniker is he's like Archer. He's a monster.
Right.
A monster like Jacob Fatu can be considered a monster even way back. Like Kane, for instance, like he ain't gonna let you go.
They're booking Jacob Fatu like when he's out there, he can hurt you seriously.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, bro, you got 4 guys, and they're all 4 decent sized guys. I'm not scared of them.
And listen to this. And Archer, Cage have been there for like 4 or 5 years, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing intimidating or dangerous about him. And Fatu's been there less than a year.
Right.
And he's already one of the most dangerous guys on the roster.
This is what they did for Lance Archer. Okay, this is his heat. He beats up all these little the little guys in the back.
Right.
The production crew.
Right.
Guys.
The same guys everybody else beats up.
Right. I'm like, oh my.
Yeah, I
would love to book one show for AEW. Because that faction would run. I would make that faction like they would run roughshod over the whole show.
You got guys that have been in like Texas death matches, like getting shot, and then next week they run away from a guy coming in with a chair. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
So what happened next? I'll just go through this as Konnan's gone for a second, but there's not much happened here. Hangman Page was looking for Swerve again. They've had like a forever angle. And Page and MJF ran into each other in the back. And then they stared at each other. Hangman Page walked off. Then MJF got delivered a promo about Jeff Jarrett and said that he didn't make a deal with MJF, so he's he didn't care what happened to him. So they did a promo with Powerhouse Hobbs. And I don't know, bro, you want to book a big baby face? You don't have hang on, Konnan's coming back on. Just real quick recap. Hangman Page is looking for Swerve backstage. He runs into what's his name? MJF. They stare at each other, a brief interaction. Then MJF gets interviewed, and MJF basically talks about Jarrett should have taken the deal. He said he had a new offer he couldn't decline, and whatever. He's trying to make something out of this. And then they go to a promo with Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't like this. First of all, they never really showed the stuff that got the heat on Hobbs. But when you deliver a promo and you have to say you're not medically cleared to go to Dynamite, but when athletes get hurt in sports like the NFL, and the guy's on IR for 4 weeks, right? You don't hear from him because it's irrelevant. He's hurt. It's like, oh, hey, I don't want to hear from the guy while he's hurt. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical. Do you get any comment about that, Konnan?
Well, plus it had no substance. It was too short. It wasn't anything that you said, oh, well, I can't wait till he gets back.
Right.
And that should be the object of your promo. Like, I can't wait to see him get back and get revenge on this guy. You didn't get out of that because it was too short like they used to do before. MJF, bro, I mean, he hasn't done anything entertaining to me besides just promos in like about a year.
And his promos aren't that entertaining because he didn't really have much to talk about because he's not going to.
And it's hard for me to get into him and Jeff, and even more hard than me to get into him and Jeff when it looks like he might be doing something with Adam Page because you saw what happened backstage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So then they go to the match, and once again, continuity. I have no clue why you wouldn't, So the Yuta comes out to ringside before they go into the commercial break. So Yuta's already out there. Okay. All right. Isn't Jeff in a faction too?
Yeah, the Jay Lethal. Where's that?
Okay, Jay. Well, okay, no.
Vacation.
Bro, to make this compelling, Yuta should have came out. Okay, then who should have been the next guy to come out the alleyway for Jeff?
Yeah, Sanjay Lethal.
No, the little guy. Yeah, the giant guys. So then it's like, okay, well, like psychology-wise, it's like a basic spot, but none of them came out. So then the best thing about this was they did this interference at the end, and they went to the wide shot, the camera shot the whole time, which just made the referee look like an absolute idiot, that there was all this stuff going on behind him, and he was like, just, it was, bro, this was.
Here was a problem, bro. He looked like a doofus, like arguing with Yuta till it was time to turn around, and he was there too long, right?
Way too long.
It buried the ref, buried the match, buried everything, and it's very hard for me to suspend disbelief that it's taking 3 people in the Death Riders. How old is Jeff? 60 years old or almost? You're right. To beat him up.
I'm 57. He's in good shape.
Right.
Like, he definitely looks younger, but we know he's like 58 years old.
Right. But he's not booked to be a guy that takes 3 guys, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's just respect for Jeff because he's at the end of his career, which is cool, right? Because he deserves it. But I'm not into this at all.
Right. So then they did.
And not only that, bro, did you hear the crowd reaction?
Nothing. Just completely flat. Exactly. And then after the match, MJF comes out there and hits him with the diamond ring and cuts a promo over him. Just bro, Jeff got beat in a terrible looking finish because the referee got buried, and then Jeff got buried afterwards. He got knocked out. Like, it's just it wasn't heat because the finish was so bad because the referee got buried that the people weren't like booing. They were just like, just like sitting there. I don't know. So then, let me give you Powell's POV on this, Cody. A lousy finish with the referee looking like a doofus for focusing so heavily on Yuta. Apparently, Bryce Remsburg has no peripheral vision, or he would have easily spotted Moxley leaving the ring after he interfered. Why would Moxley's character go out of his way to avoid facing Jeff Jarrett? He issued the challenge for the 4-way match against 3 top challengers at the World's End pay-per-view, but he interfered in this match to avoid being challenged by a 57-year-old legend? He's not the only one thinking that, right? So Renee Paquette told Ricochet that he can't interfere in the AR Fox. Why is AR Fox back on TV right now? It's kind of weird. Okay, yeah.
He is a good wrestler, and he is friends with Ricochet and Swan and all them.
Okay, so he got a match against
Darby Allin. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ricochet defeated AR Fox in 11 minutes, and I don't know. That AR Fox guy is like, he's been around for a long time, but he just looks green. He's like this typical like AR Fox.
Yeah,
in his matches.
No,
his offense looks green to me. Absolutely looks green to me.
Yeah, not to
he doesn't look like a polished vet out there. This is the guy that does that. This is the guy that does that kick with this. He does the kick, Konnan, and he slaps his hands over his head. This guy,
right?
Yeah, the YMCA.
I'm like, well,
yeah.
I don't know. So, all right. So Swerve showed up at ringside and pulled Ricochet out of the ring and worked him over all 9. I looked on, and then Ricochet set up for a Swerve stomp. But then I don't know why they're doing this. Ricochet has these scissors, and he held the scissors at Fox's throat like he was like kidnapping him, like a kidnap
like he
situation.
did the Prince Nana. It's corny.
Like the guy's gonna slit it. You know what they should do? They should do a special effect Like get a special effects artist and slice the guy's throat to have the blood spurting out everywhere and everything. Then they get over huge, I think. With the fans of change and stuff and everything, it'd be great. Anybody got a comment on this? Let's go to Jose. What'd you think? AR Fox versus Ricochet.
He doesn't watch AEW.
Oh, you don't? Julian, do you watch Ricochet versus AR Fox? Very exciting match.
No, not live.
All right. What about you, the mayor? The alleged mayor? By the way, change your bio. Put alleged mayor or put the mayor in quotations, please. It's not official. You make it sound like it's
of K. I'm the mayor other places, just not of K100.
I'm not sure about that. Okay, so nothing going on here. So Paquette asked Moxley about holding the 8. I'm going to read you what he said because when Moxley cuts promos, it's like I don't understand what he's talking about because it's not interesting. But this is what he's talking about. Paquette, this is his wife, by the way, interviewing him. I think this is they don't acknowledge this is his wife. Paquette asked Moxley about holding the AEW World Championship hostage. Okay, Moxley asked why people need to see it if they want a picture of it. Moxley said he's the living definition of the AEW World Championship, and said he's trying to build 1,000 versions of himself, and he will put them through what he went through and worse.
Yeah, that's riveting. Here's the thing, bro. He's supposed to be their number one heel.
Right?
Right? There's nothing about him that's intimidating, scary, dangerous, all of the above. He's not, his matches aren't great. I like his promos. But, yeah, I think they need to get better heels.
Okay,
and his group is whack.
I just thought of something. Yeah. Right?
Oh, and by the way, the golden scissors, just like the screwdriver before it.
That was a golden kazoo, by the way. If you can see this. So this is interesting. I just literally thought of this as I was reading this. Okay, so Jericho hosted a New York Minute segment, and Big Bill and Brian Keith are there, and Jericho mentioned his movie's coming out, and he said he put Jericho's words. Bill said he put Jericho's words to action. Now he feels stronger. Jericho said it makes him proud of himself to be such a great mentor. Jericho added that Bill didn't take out Powerhouse Hobbs permanently, so he needed to work harder. And he said he and Brian Keith will face the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, and Truth Magnum on Collision. So the Outrunners claim they've been around for decades, but he's never seen them on television besides AEW. Then Keith yelled out, Mandela Effect. Jericho told Billy he expects him to make him proud for real this time, and Jericho flashed a cheesy grin and sneered. All right, I don't know why they first thought New York Minute was like a segment that I don't understand this New York Minute. But this is what Jericho should do. They should do a segment where he comes out like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood entrance. And he just kind of walks out hey guys, it's a learning tree, the learning tree is like Mr. Rogers. And you have like a live studio audience soundtrack clap,
like Bray Wyatt used to do with the Funhouse.
Similar, kind of like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood, I mean
Mr. Jericho's neighborhood.
Right. Jay White against Wheeler Yuta. Jay White beat you. It took him 14 minutes to beat you. Wheeler Yuta.
That's Jimmy Utah, by the way.
Yeah. So Jimmy Yuta, right. And you know what we found out though? The guy's name used to be Jimmy Yuta when he was in MLW. So Konnan literally is he's mispronounced his name, but the guy used to be Jimmy Yuta, and that's why he keeps right.
Yes.
We actually spoke about that before. After the match, White picked up Yuta and gave him another Blade Runner, while Excalibur said he hasn't forgotten how Yuta tormented him with last month. The fans called for one more, and White obliged. So Moxley showed up on the apron and hopped up on the apron, and White jawed at Moxley. Then didn't take a while guess what happened next. He's got his back turned to the entranceway, so Claudio's from behind, right. So then Adam Copeland's music comes out. He came in the ring with Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. And after running them off, Copeland shook White's hand. We have to have a handshake on this show for sure. Then Harwood got the mic and said it's a little different when it's an even fight, and said he doesn't hate how the Death Riders operate, but he does hate how they tried to end 67-year-old Ricky Morton. Harwood said Morton is his idol. Harwood said Dennis Condrey, the Midnight Express, was in the crowd. And this is bro, this to me is just funny, In Condrey's name, Harwood called for the FTR versus Death Riders in a Mid-South street fight for Collision. So, because this is the angle, okay? The way I'm reading this and the way I watched it, it looks like 2 marks for Mid-South Championship Wrestling came out, and they were marking out because 2 of the guys from Mid-South Wrestling were in the crowd, and they said we're going to have a Mid-South Wrestling Street Fight because from March of Mid-South Wrestling. Yep. That's what they said. Am I wrong? And that's what it came across as.
Well, here's my only contention with this. Right. So I'm going to assume everybody on this dais, tremendous word for a Latino, knows who Ricky Morton is, correct?
Right.
Okay. But you're hardcore fans, all right? Mm-hmm. How many people at home that aren't in the South and that are young are going, who is Ricky Morton?
Or
right?
care about this verbiage enough to set up a street fight.
Right.
Right.
Why don't they do a video package where they're showing them when they were young and some of the big matches they had, and then afterwards the commentators go, well, Ricky Martin, Gibson, they were big in the South, and they would turn around, build them up so you know who they're talking about.
Unnecessary.
But whether you're veterans, whether you're Japanese, whether you're rappers, whether you're Mexican, there is no explanation. Figure it out yourself.
By the way,
and I always go back to my favorite thing is, can you guys imagine if you were watching the UFC and you know how they always put like little backstories and they both shoot on each other? If they did none of that, you just see them in the ring, there's a record, Google them and find out what the going on. That's the commentator's job.
Just to say that, so we're not super critical. Other people can see the same things that we're seeing. Okay, I'm going to read you Powell's POV on this.
Yep.
If they want to position White as a top contender for the AEW World Championship, then he shouldn't struggle to be the Death Rider's young boy.
100%.
Seriously, why are so many matches needlessly competitive matches in this company? On the bright side, it seems like the Cope experiment is over, given that Excalibur kept referring to him as Adam Copeland. How long did the Cope thing go?
That was a terrible name anyways.
It was like 3 weeks.
I wonder why he changed it. Did he realize how JoJo it was?
No, my contention was it was a rib. Remember I told you?
Yeah,
yes,
but I don't think
like,
so.
I'm coping because like this sucks here right now.
I don't think so because, bro, from what I hear, he gets incredible treatment. And he's getting paid good, So
let me ask you a question.
Why would you bite
remember
the hand that's feeding you?
Remember the WCW, the thing that was kind of like contentious is that, you had the regular locker room, which we would all hang out in, okay? And you had the stars would have their own locker rooms.
Right.
Okay. What's the dynamic in AEW? Who gets their own locker rooms there?
I told you before, the Young Bucks.
Okay.
Cody when he was there.
Okay, but he's not there anymore.
Right. The Young Bucks, Kenny.
Okay. What about Adam Copeland? Those are the executive vice presidents. That doesn't count.
I don't know, but I'm going to assume him and Monet have their own dressing room.
The talent. Okay. Of talent, I'm wondering how many.
Jericho.
Oh, Jericho does? Okay.
Yeah.
I would never even ask for that. You know me, I'm like a social butterfly. I like go around and rib with the boys and stuff. I'm like making fun. I don't know. And Hall and Nash were like that too. They didn't give. They would go in Hulk's room and drink wine watching the show.
No, but what they do. This is the cool part. That what they do is like when I went to the Young Bucks dressing room, which was actually a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. They actually have like little. Those little portable basketballs that you can put on the wall.
Oh yeah, right. You can play basketball, you can shoot.
Yeah,
dunk
so they're having So they're having games, and they've got the TV usually with sports on, and then they got all their boys in the dressing room with them. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out. Even
who are their boys?
If they're not in that like Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, Cutler. Who else?
It was Cutler. I've seen Omega in there. I've seen who else was their boys? Oh, all the Southern California guys, that were there.
Like Frankie was there.
And Daniels, right. Like they're boys.
Right. All right. So Mariah May cut a promo. The return of timeless Tony Storm is not real, she said. The fans chanted Tony. The May Cameron addressed Storm. She said if she wants to play the role of Tony Storm, she should play the Storm who gave her heart to a woman who used her for her gold.
Let me ask you a question. Did you or anybody here see? And I think it was last week when Tony Storm did that thing on Collision where she turned back like the Tony Storm.
Yeah, yes. I saw a clip of that.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it.
Bro, that was excellent.
No, she's a good character. She's
probably
the
best. That's probably my favorite character right now, and it has been for a couple months, is Tony Storm.
Her delivery was excellent with it. Yeah. It took something that was like bleh, and then went back to this super over character, and it was like, I'm an actor and all of this.
Yeah, and she was beating her chest, and
she's going nuts.
Smearing your makeup.
And she said that really weird, gross thing. That was
right. So basically, Mariah May cut the promo on Tony Storm. And then they go. Then this was, I don't know. this was unnecessary. They had a gun club video package, and it showed them watching their own footage on their phones, working out in the gym, driving a car, and running the ropes.
You know what's the problem with that? The same problem with Hobbs. Too quick, didn't resonate. You forgot about it immediately.
Well, this is a video that would have aired if they were coming to the company,
right,
and hadn't been here for 3 years.
Right.
It's like
you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like they haven't debuted yet. Like
right.
here's these guys are coming.
Upcoming. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. But by the way, since there was no promos or nothing leading up to this, Powell's POV. After this segment, right?
Right.
They've done such a poor job of hyping the TBS title match tonight. I was just wondering what the main event of the show was. Okay. The Hurt. Okay, this is another wasted segment. Okay, video package. So you had a video promo of the Bobby Lashley and the new tag team champions, the Hurt Syndicate, and they just said they're accept any challenge.
Yep.
Why don't you call somebody out? We're like,
you know what that almost felt like? Right, that almost felt like we don't have a match for the Hurt Syndicate, but we need to keep them on TV, so we'll put this quick thing in there.
Right.
But what people have to understand that are listening to the show is every promo must make you want to see that match or make you interested. Right. If not, it's a waste of time. Right?
Or it's filling you in a current storyline and telling you what pieces of the story have happened up until this point.
This just felt like filler. Right. And that's 3 videos in one show where after the video's done, there's no party that's going, yeah, I got to see this.
All right, so that's
that's the name of it, promotional.
Right.
Makes me want to see as the viewer, and they just miss on that all the time.
I'm going to say this to you, Mayor, and with all due respect for whatever you're the mayor of besides Mayor McCheese, is okay. I'm not going to have you come out here and in any way berate the 4 times Booker of the Year. So
sorry. I got to put respect on his name.
And you're not going to berate.
Respect on his name. That's right. Put some respect, because I just pulled up. Yeah, right.
Did you see the Mandy Rose is claiming that somebody stole that slogan from her?
Which one?
Yeah.
Who was she saying that to drop that the other day?
She's saying that Tiffany Stratton stole it from her.
Tiffany Stratton stole that from Tiffany Stratton said, put some respect on my name, right?
Right.
We know it comes from Birdman.
It comes from Birdman.
Mandy Rose went on the podcast and said she stole that from her.
Right.
Like Mandy Rose is claiming, put respect on my name is from me. It's like, no.
Put some respect on my name. It should be more like, who is your name? Like, and if you don't register it, it ain't yours.
Okay, Coney, you did not see Collision this past week because you were doing TV, right?
No, I did not.
Okay, but after watching this, if you did not have TV, after watching this segment I'm going to talk about right now, would you have watched Collision?
All right.
Because backstage, the Vendetta, Deonna Purrazzo, and Taya Valkyrie delivered a promo. Purrazzo said she'd be challenging Mercedes Moné tonight if it wasn't for Harley Cameron. Purrazzo said they need to take what they deserve, and Valkyrie said they are coming to collect on Collision. So they're going to be in Collision to come collect.
Right.
Were you interested in that?
No, but I will say this. Taya's like a little sister to me, and I think she's super charismatic, and I like her fashion, and I like her in-rings, and I like Deonna. She also worked a little while with us in AAA, and I like what she's wearing, and I like her attitude, like get away from me, and I like them together,
Okay.
But I will say this, because you mentioned Harley, right?
Right.
I think Harley is more entertaining than 90% of the girls there. Every time they give her a chance, she's entertaining.
Well, here's what you got to do, because, and this is a lot of not many of the girls, okay?
Right.
So the top girls in WWE, like they're so polished on the mic, they don't really need anything. Charlotte, Bayley, the Becky, okay. But what Chelsea Green did was she became an over-the-top personality.
Right. So
you kind of, because so many of the girls are so bland that you kind of have to be kind of over the top to stick out from the blandness of the thing, and that becomes it, and it's entertaining, because like you're literally you're not bland, all right, and you're kind of being over the top, but it's far more entertaining than being bland, which a lot of these girls are, because they don't really know how to act. Like bro, like for some ungodly reason they keep pushing Julia Hart into like this top spot. Right. She has no personality at all. Like these other girls have like way more personality than her. Like, but she's got this like weird gimmick with no purse. Like, I don't know. It's like,
bro,
but yeah, but she is very entertaining and she's attractive too. So.
Tony's no different than Vince. It's an audience of one, and if he likes you, he's gonna use you, and if he doesn't, he ain't.
Okay, so I can't believe this is all the criticism this company's getting. They put Mercedes Moné's as Yuka Sakazaki, who
as the main event. That's the worst part. Really?
I'm like, dude,
the numbers showed again, bro. How many times have we said this main event is not going to do good, and it never does?
I mean, I don't, bro. The amount of times you've seen Daniel Garcia in a main event, they put like this girl in the main event. You've had RVD in a main event. Those 50-year-old Japanese guys have been in many events. It's like, dude, it's like this guy doesn't understand the concept, and that's why every single week the main event has a drop off. It's like that's, bro. Your main event your show should be building crescendo to where if during the show your main event is you've at the beginning of the show you set up your main event, or during the week the main event's going to be this, okay? And during the show you build up through interviews, a couple of interviews to remind people this is the main event. Even if they change a channel, they know to come back for the main event. Like, so in 15 minutes, they'll come back and watch the show. Bro, this show does their lowest number every single week in the main event.
Yeah, I would have at least out of the matches they had, I would have put Cage and what's this guy's name,
Ospreay,
in the main event, and the beatdown and all that. If it was done better, yes.
Right, go off the TV with heat.
Right.
Bro, go ahead.
As a viewer, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not in anything, right? I just think about when wrestling was at its hottest, when you guys were performers and everything. The main event always had some type of fallout to make me watch next week, right?
Right.
And what is the fallout of Mercedes and Yuka Sakazaki?
Zero, or the week before it was zero, or the week before that it was zero, because we review every show, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I listen to the reviews, while I'm driving around at work, and I'm like, man, thank God, better you than me, right. Because this is crazy,
bro. And here's the thing that drives me wild, because whenever I watch TV, I have my Booker's hat on, and then I also have my fanboy hat on, right? And the Booker in me is like, why are you having a match with this Sakazaki girl when in your locker room you have Thunder Rosa and you have Taya and you have Diana and you have even Willow, bro? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why is this girl,
I saw someone post and say that her and Riho show up maybe once or twice a year. In Rio's case, she becomes a contender or gets the championship. Has it for maybe 2-3 weeks and then drops it to someone, then they disappear off the face of the planet. So what's the value of them, And to your point, you got all of these girls that are there all the time. So just build people up.
So is that Tony's influence or Kenny's influence on that?
Tony.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it Tony's influence?
No, I don't know. Maybe Omega's the one that presented her to him, because he was the one that was in charge of all the Japanese girls, since he worked in DDT and probably saw these girls and Stardom in DDT. But bro, come on, you've got to have. I mean, Kenny's very smart, right? You've got to be honest with yourself and go, all right, this girl's too small. She looks like a little girl. She's not really exciting. You got to use things. I always say this in Mexico. It doesn't matter if my boss likes somebody or I like somebody or anybody in position of power. Your job is to give the people the best talent out there, not somebody you personally like. Okay, you want to go have dinner with them, go sing karaoke and do a duet, Ebony and Ivory. Well, that's on you. But at the end of the day,
Ebony and Ivory,
disgusting.
Yeah,
that's the Jed Frankfurt, friend of the show, Jed Frankfurt. That's the guy that cuts the promo, Jed Frankfurt, every week.
He's your friend, not mine.
I'd rather do the Eddie Murphy, Joe Piscopo version.
Let me make a comment, Coney, and I want to ask you this, because you promote shows, okay? Are you responsible for telling AAA how much they should pay talent?
No.
Like you're not in those discussions?
No, because I don't.
Okay, but you know how many? You know how much these the Mexican wrestlers get on
everybody? Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You're running a show in TJ, right? Indie show. You're going to get some Mexican guys. How much are you going to pay Yuma Sakazaki? How much you offer? Like, what she worth?
Oh, if I had to offer her money in Mexico, in TJ, in a place nobody knows her, maybe 200. And
that's I would wonder. I think that'd be a good poll to put out.
Right.
For like independent wrestling promoters, how much would you pay Yuka Sakazaki to come work for you?
They're all fanboys, so they'll pay her a lot more.
Yeah, but would they pay her $500? Bro, this is like a $500 a night indie. Not even that. Like it's just $200 to $300 a night indie girl, and she's main eventing on AEW Dynamite on the Warner Brothers Discovery Network. I'm like, what?
Big deal.
The girl you're paying $5 million a year, whatever.
That will not attract not one person in Tijuana unless he's Japanese and he's a hardcore mark or some American. That how many people is she actually going to draw?
Okay. By the way, there was this thing I forgot to talk about in the show. This is hysterical. Okay. So they showed. All right. Let me see the sequence of events here. Okay. They did a video package. Okay, talking about a Collision. And they showed the backstory here where this Shane Taylor guy came in and beat up the Undisputed Kingdom 1-on-4 or what? Okay, he was like beating them all up.
This was on Collision?
No. The answer was the week before on Collision. So they showed this video package. They were literally showing, credit to them, telling you why this match was happening. Here's the video package to set up this match that's going to happen on Collision, right?
Right.
So they showed. What do you call it? Okay, so the Shane Taylor guy came in, was beating up from behind 1-on-3 guys. Okay, Shane Taylor's the heel. Adam Cole and everything. He's beating these guys up 1-on-3. Daniel Garcia comes out and hits the ring. So then all four of them clear the guy from the ring 4-on-1. The four babyfaces clear the one heel that was beating up the three guys, and Daniel Garcia came out. So Daniel Garcia and those guys shook hands. And then Matt Menard was there too, whatever. So they shook hands to set up a 6-man that all of them that had cleared the ring of the heel were going to fight each other now. Okay, in a 6-man. Like, hey, you want to fight? You want to wrestle this weekend, right? So they had a match. And then after the match, they shook hands. And for some reason, this was the setup for a 3-way between, what is his name? Daniel Garcia, Kyle O'Reilly, and Lee Moriarty this past weekend on Collision, or this week, last night on Collision, for the TNT Championship, whatever belt that guy holds. And I was like, how did you get to like there? It's like if somebody could explain to me the watch the show, explain the angle that led to Kyle O'Reilly, Daniel Garcia, and Lee Moriarty fighting each other, I'd like to hear it, because they were all shaking. All these, with the exception of Lee Moriarty, they're all shaking hands with each other. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Lee's with Shane Taylor. That's his boy, and Kyle O'Reilly's like loosely involved with Kingdom. Didn't they just do something? And then now they're having a match. So
yeah,
cool.
the buildup was so, I was like, it was so confusing. I was like,
you gotta watch the show, I guess.
Yeah. So, are you ready to listen to our top? But by the way, the show was not good at all, and it did a terrible number. Everybody online after the show aired, Konnan, on Thursday. I don't know if you saw this. They were all complaining that, like, even the people that like praised AEW, like everybody was actually. It's funny if you go on like my Twitter suggestions, like when they say like what one of the thing was like people online complaining about AEW Dynamite. Okay,
you know what's funny to me? This is what's hilarious to me. So we've been criticizing AEW probably from the second year on, because the first year they got a pass because it was a honeymoon period and they were signing up everybody, and there was like a lot of excitement and buzz that we had something different, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So like year 2 and year 3 and even a little bit in year 4, me and Disco were getting destroyed, in the sense that not that it bothered us, but everybody's like, oh, they're being relevant and they hate it and they're mad because they weren't hired by AEW and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And what's funny to me is you got to understand, guys, we were in a creative capacity, and it's very different than what you guys know or even read, okay? And so we knew from experience that he was going to have problems, because this is not easy. If it was, there'd be a lot more companies in business. Okay.
Right.
And now the funny thing to me is everybody's starting to turn on him. Everybody's starting to see what we were saying and we were seeing. And plus, a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not, they listen to Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette, and because those guys are knowledgeable, bro. They didn't just wake up and, oh, I know a lot about wrestling. They were in it since they were a teenager, lived it, were in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And even though I don't listen to any of their shows, and I'm sure they don't listen to us, but like Bully Ray, all of us, we all have like the same
consensus.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And people listen to these shows and they're like, you know what? I never noticed that, but right. And now they're starting to take them to task as they should.
Yeah, you know, for me, Konnan, it's everything would be fine if Tony wouldn't have been so abrasive towards Eric. So that stuff just rubs me the wrong way. Not that Eric's my boy; he doesn't know me from Adam. You know what I mean? But I just hate the fact that you're gonna make those comments,
right?
And everyone, the one thing I cannot stand is when everyone like, oh, he's bankrupted 3 times. They just come up with all this, so they have no idea what it took or what actually happened.
Not just that. He had the audacity to say, oh, we're never going to make the same mistakes WCW made. Bro, you made a lot of the same mistakes Eric has had. No. And you had him as an example, and you even had 2 books that you could have read, and you still go out there and you do the same thing. So what are you talking about? Or the time, and I think it was Punk, please correct me if I'm wrong, and I like Punk, but I think it was Punk that said, oh, we're going to be as big as the NWO, and I remember me and Glenn were like on the podcast. Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, he
NWO
said that
revolutionized the business.
Yeah, I mean, I love Punk. He made the comparison that him and Bryan going to AEW was game changing, like Hall and Nash going to WCW, and it's like, I don't agree with that.
Right. Hey, Disco, I have a question for you. When Tony called you an irrelevant parasite, was that because of your comment to make you said that the show needs a reboot?
Yeah, I was at home back in Atlanta, and I was on I was watching like TV in my recliner back at home, like watching TV, and I had my laptop and I was watching Collision. I never watched Collision, so I watched Collision, and then afterwards Tony tweeted, "Hey, how we feeling?" After Collision, I said like the show needs. That's all I tweeted. Like the show needs a reset.
So the reason I ask you that is because on my YouTube algorithm on my phone right now, I'm seeing from Alvarez.
Oh no, yeah. Let me explain that though. Okay, if you read the headline that says that does AEW need a reboot?
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, but that was that the headline there is talking about because one of their callers called in with a question asking if they need a reboot.
Okay,
they never actually really, but they were talking about
I was seeing Lanceman's,
Those guys never, ever want to be completely honest and say what that company needs.
Absolutely.
They just skate. Dave's like, oh, well, it was like, the wrestling was good. Like, he just refuses to, say, dude, let's be honest. I've been in booking meetings before, WCW in 2000, when it's like we would get the numbers, and if the numbers weren't good, we would be upset. What did we do wrong? And when the numbers were good, we're like, okay, what can we do to make them better? Let's say, bro, they get a bad number, and it's just a million excuses why the competition is the message, it's like, dude, you've got consistently bad numbers for 2 straight years now. Right. Okay, something's wrong. None of the dirt sheet people, because they get to go to the scrums, want to come out and say, hey, this is the point where you change the creative.
Yeah, the bias is obvious. The bias
is It's like the historical company, professional wrestling, nobody's wanted to be in charge of creative for that long. The most recent was Vince McMahon, bro. This online community had no problem burying that product. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When their numbers weren't good and everything, but for some reason it's because bro, it's really a fascinating strategy. I'll get these guys in my scrums. I'll give them access. And it's kind of like the untold story. There's just don't talk bad about me.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't get. We don't get because then all of a sudden, the people that do talk honestly about the product, the podcasters, and now all of a sudden they go at the dirt sheet community is going after the podcasters now. And it's like, dude, it's so stupid. We talk good about WWE because they're doing good. We talk bad about AEW because they're doing bad. That's like what it's not a
it
cause.
Would be the other way around if it was the other way around.
The cause effect is not us talking bad, and then their product is good. It's like the cause effect is their product is not good. People turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about why they turn it off, and like the people getting us is like, well, you're being a hater.
It kills me that
I'm telling you why they're turning the channel.
It kills me that your opinions are based upon even statistical fact when you pull up numbers and quarter hours and all of that, and people just disregard. I mean, a lot of internet wrestling fans are very selective in what they want to acknowledge, and as long as it fits their narrative and the perception that they're comfortable with, then they just kind of go with that, which I think is the biggest reason why you guys get, them about whatever you say, because it just doesn't fit their world view of this is what I like, and how dare you say what I like isn't the best. You know?
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that you guys don't review TNA, and I know it's a lot of wrestling to review, but it is a little unfortunate because it seems like they got a lot going on, and they're missing out on maybe some positive and negative things that you guys could say about it.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.